Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm not going to talk about investment. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on properties, real estate, and other things. Now I'm getting onto an age where I want to have my own housing, and I'm starting to look around places. And me being me, I always question if there is a better way of doing things. And to me, it does not make sense for me to be shackled into a place for me to pay 25 to 30 years of mortgage at the prime time of my life. So this is my first time moving overseas to see if there is any better opportunities to look at properties around overseas and make a decision after that. So after hopping around 4 properties, I come to this conclusion that I like this one the most, and I'm going to show it to you guys. So as you guys can see, the view here is just amazing, and I'll show you all the other areas, and I'll break down all the different costs and all the different facilities that this condo have. And maybe you can comment down below on whether or not this is a good idea, to stay overseas while you rent out your property in Singapore. As I've mentioned before in my videos, my income is coming from online, and I'm going to build more online incomes so that I don't have to be bound by a single specific place. I can own a home in Singapore, and then I rent the property out for a higher cash flow, and then I stay overseas. And this place costs about 300 Sing dollars per month. So let's say if I were to own a public housing in Singapore, I rent that property out for 2.5 thousand, and I come here to rent a property for $300 per month. I actually earn a difference of $2.2 thousand, and I think this place is a perfect man cave, so I will show you guys around. So whatever big decision I make in life, I always use the first principles approach. I will think of the problem and I'll reason backwards to their fundamental basic truth. And once I know the fundamental basic truth, I can find a better solution to cater to the problem. So for me, I think the problem is a place like Singapore. For public housing, you pay $500,000 for a place that is about 900 plus square feet to 1,000 square feet. And I think being stuck in a mortgage for 25 to 30 years, trying to own a house that lasts for 99 years, does not make sense for me. So I decided to go overseas to check the property prices, to see if they have better standard of living or lower cost of living. And also this trip can give me inspiration on how I want my house to look like in the future. And I really cannot believe this. The rental for this place is about 10 SGD per day, or about $300 per month. And the maintenance fee is about $60 or $59 to be exact. And take a look at this place. This place is amazing. You have I can look at the city view from here. It is near the MRT, and there is a co-working space that I will show you later.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the...
So I guess the objective of this video is just to show you another perspective of things. Show you an alternative lifestyle that I may consider taking. I may not do it immediately. I'm just coming out here to see how things look like and see if I like this kind of environment. So I myself is doing sort of a trial and error to see if I like this kind of environment, this kind of living standard, so on and so forth. As a person that thinks about business a lot, to me I much rather do a service-based business rather than having inventory, having a physical space. To me, if I'm just starting out, I want to eliminate all this overhead, all this physical space that I have to rent. I only start scaling when I'm forced to scale. I see the future generation of entrepreneurs having teams all around the world. And this will be a digital economy where we are no longer being bound by a specific place and being tied to a specific place. This is a trend I see, and I see more of the future generation doing more of what I'm going to do. And to me, I predict this is going to be quite normal 10 to 20 years down the road in the future. I sat down and had this talk with Bunti, and we talked about how the previous generation had already built out all the infrastructure. So the manufacturing of goods is already very hard for us to disrupt. So actually the blue ocean is in a service business where new generations will come in. Service business, they are lean. The business model are lean. So they don't have a lot of overhead, physical space, that kind of thing. And people don't mind working from anywhere around the world. So this is what I see, and I come overseas to see if I can find any opportunities, get in touch with the locals and have a few of the prime areas, all the facilities, and where is all the places to go. Hey guys, so you can see this is the common workspace. There is high ceiling. So I just want to sit down and go through with you some numbers, whether or not it is feasible to move to another country to work. So let's say your work is remote and you can work from anywhere in the world. The long-term rental for this place is about 300 Sing dollars per month. And the short-term rental for this place via Airbnb is about $22 per day, plus some cleaning fee, which amounts to about $25. So the rent is about $600 to $700 if you're on short-term rental through Airbnb. So what I like about this place is the sky view. The sky view is really amazing, and a rooftop infinity pool, and plus there's a library, there is a family mart downstairs, there's 2 fully equipped gyms, and there is 2 pools. The amenities is amazing for this price. So let's say you own a property in Singapore. What you can actually do is you rent out the property in Singapore, you collect the rental, the higher rental, and then you do a rental arbitrage. Let's say you rent out your property for 2.5 to 3K, and then you come here, you rent a property at $600. You're actually earning a difference of 1.9K to 2.4K positive cash flow while you work in a nicer place. And you have the ability to travel to a new country, experience their culture, their language, taste their food, and whatever income you generate from your active income or your business, you are going to get to keep the full amount of cash because the property you rented out in Singapore covers all your living expenses here. Okay, now let's talk about the downside. To give you a balanced view, what I feel is the downside of living overseas is that your friends and family, they are in Singapore or they are in your own home country. So there is lesser social interaction unless you yourself go and talk to the locals. I think the second downside is the safety. I think Singapore is one of the safest places in the world. I mean, in theory, I know that Singapore is very, very safe. But then now that I'm here experiencing another country's safety and security, you see things like the infrastructure not even built properly, like the roads are, like even walking on the roads, you have to be very careful because you might even trip. And I try not to go near the electrical wiring. And in a developing world where there is major wealth difference, wealth gap, so there is a lot of people living in poverty, and it is by no choice of them that they have to, in a way, try to make a living out of another person, aka they try to snatch the pie or try to scam. So definitely I would say Singapore's safety and security is underrated. And sometimes this kind of safety and security is really something that money cannot buy. I myself will weigh safety and security above money. So I think this is the downside of doing a rental arbitrage where you go to a lower cost of living country. And okay, now the million-dollar question. Since I like this property so much with 2 rooftop infinity pool, 2 rooftop gyms, and this workspace, and this workspace is a workspace, and there is a library, there is a family mart, and my room itself is cozy, warm lighting, so on and so forth. And this entire property costs about 75,000 Sing dollars to buy, and a $59 maintenance fee per month. So the million-dollar question is, will I buy this property? The answer is no. I don't think I will buy this property. I don't think I will buy this property because in Thailand, there's actually more land than there is people. So there is no scarcity. Let's imagine Singapore, a tiny bit dot with 5.5 million people. The supply of land, property and homes itself is already scarce because of the supply of our land. We have such tiny land. Because our GDP per capita is so high and it will continue to grow, the competition for land will keep increasing. Hence the demand will increase and the supply remains sort of finite. And this means that investing properties in Singapore is so much better than investing in other countries. And also Singapore has a 0% capital gains tax, and we have one of the lowest tax in Singapore. So when you have the lowest tax in Singapore, the ultra rich, the mega rich, they'll park their money in Singapore, and Singapore is a financial hub, so money will flow through this region, this Southeast Asia region. So when there is a lot of money, there will be demand of properties as well. Then they park their money here, and this bring forth demand and bring up the whole property prices, and everyone in Singapore prospers together. So I'd much rather invest my money in Singapore properties rather than overseas properties. But what you can perhaps do for Bangkok's property, for example, is know that Bangkok, just like Taiwan, Korea, Japan, they are all tourist destinations. Instead of investing, hoping for capital appreciation of the property, you can go for a cash flow game. So meaning to say you can go for the property's 使用权. You rent the right to run the property. So for example, you rent the right to use the property and you do Airbnb. Many landlords in real estate, they are all old money rich. They don't have the capability or the understanding of how to run an Airbnb because Airbnb is sort of a new and upcoming thing. And I think it's generally true. If I were to rent a property here, this property, and I rent it through a landlord, I will need to pay about 300 Sing dollars per month. But if I were to stay in Airbnb in this same exact property, I will pay more than double to use the same exact property just through Airbnb. So like I said, I can do the same exact thing. I can rent the property for 300 Sing dollars and I can do Airbnb and earn about 800 Sing dollars. And it is about scaling to multiple properties because your startup cost is low. So maybe what I'm thinking is I will install digital lock and I will look around, talk to locals and see if there is any cleaning auntie to help me clean the properties, and I will have digital lock to get them to do self-check-in. So in a way, this process is automated. I don't have to do much. So my entire month here, I have hopped around 4 Airbnbs and I get to talk to one of the real estate agents that bring me around 3 properties. So I see about 7 properties. And so far, this one is my favorite. But unfortunately, there is a recession coming. So I have to watch my cash flow and do wealth preservation rather than aggressively expanding and trying out different business models. So right now, I have to take a step back and do more research first and wait for things to cool down. And I will come back and try and see if Airbnb is viable. Because I really believe in Airbnb and Airbnb can scale. So I think now my general plan is I understand that Bangkok, Korea, Japan, and Taiwan, they are tourist destination, and I will start with Bangkok first because Bangkok is one of the lowest cost of living, and if I want to test out a market, I will test a cheaper market so that once I build up a system, I understand how it works, then I can go and try on Taiwan, Korea and Japan. So Bangkok will be the first foothold for me to try Airbnb. Okay guys, if you guys like this kind of video where I just share about my thoughts on like whatever business I want to try, do comment down in the comments below. Help me like this video and share it with your friends, and help me get to 2K subs. Thank you so much, and I will see you next week.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna